Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine Sunday evening? Man, we got a lot to talk about. And really, none of it is Inter Miami because there was no game. But lots of news dropped about MLS. So we're going to have some fun getting into all that tonight. But as always, I don't do this by myself. Everybody say hi to everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Ed. Ed, how you doing tonight?
Peter Brown, here I am. Missing soccer, but at the same time, we've got a lot of information, a lot of stuff to talk about. And I'm here again at the FMTV Cafe, having my cafecito.
There you go. There you go. And you didn't have to go without soccer this weekend. That's just the beauty of it. You didn't have to. That's as always, that's a choice. There's plenty of football to go around. I found my way to find a way to enjoy some football this weekend and going to see Fort Lauderdale United. So I went to go see the women play yesterday. So that was a lot of fun. But we'll get into some of that. I don't know if we'll touch much on that, but we'll get into a lot of news in just a minute. So let's say thank you to our sponsor, and that is Caneswear. Caneswear is located in Davie, Florida, just south of 595 on University Drive. They have the messiest wall in all of South Florida. You get the best deals in town right there. Support a local business. You want to help us, support them. So go to Caneswear now.
And if anything, Peter, get your stuff at caneswear.com. That's what I do sometimes because I'm not too close to the store, so I want to get my stuff, especially now that Christmas is coming.
That is true. That is a very good place to go Christmas shopping. I've gone there and done some Christmas shopping as well. So, yeah, just a good place to go. And, yeah, if any orders over $99 ship for free on caneswear.com. So go check them out. Also, just a little more business. Some of this Ed doesn't even know, but it involves him. So we had a Patreon account because we were trying to save Ed's kidney. I think we failed on that. I'm not sure.
Probably going to lose my kidney, Peter.
Yeah, I think we might have failed on that one. And so what we've done is, we had a handful of people that were participating in that Patreon, and we really, really appreciate that. We've shut it down now, so you will no longer be, billed from Patreon. But we still want your money. And so we're going to do something fun here on YouTube. So making it a little bit easier. There is a join button on the YouTube page. And so just click the join button. And for a few bucks a month, you can support the channel. And we're going to give you something. We're going to do some behind the scenes videos, some members only videos I have a few ideas of things that we can do. And then we I also have an idea of once we hit at least 5 members, and we're calling them FMTV Supporters Club. Once we've hit 5 of those members, we will do a members only show where you, the members, are part of the show. So we'll all be on screen. I mean, if you want, like if you're a member and you want to be on screen, and I can have up to 10 people, and so we'll do that, and but that will be a members only benefit. So join right there. Anyways, that's it. Not going to hound you for that all the time.
Yeah,
for just a few bucks. Caesar was asking are there any promo codes at Caneswear? Caneswear.com, yeah, FMTV 10, I think it is the promo code. It still works. Been there forever.
FMTV 10. So yeah, do it. Engage.
There you go. All right. Well, it was a quiet week this week, right?
It was. I mean,
or maybe not.
Game. Well, there was World Cup qualifying and a lot of friendlies played. USA played. There's more going on for the rest of the week too. So that'll be it. I mean, if you want your soccer, there's plenty of soccer there.
Sure. Also, just on the pure soccer side of things, there was also the USL playoffs, championship playoffs were going on. My brother's team that he's now a season ticket holder for in Tulsa is now going to the championship. They're going to play next week in the championship against Pittsburgh Riverhounds. So and then you've also today the NWSL had their second game in their semifinals, and so it's going to be in their final match. It's going to be Washington Spirit versus Gotham FC. So yeah, lots of stuff going on.
That's pretty cool. They should get DC to support them to be their sponsor.
DC Spirit. They play at their stadium.
Oh.
They play at Audi Field. So.
Well, I'm saying DC Comics is what I meant.
Oh.
Get it?
Got it. Took me a second. I'm thinking of DC United.
I know.
I'm thinking of DC United. So.
I meant DC Comics.
Real quick before we get off that topic, because I saw a chat in here. It says, "What's up, guys? Atlanta got a new NWSL team, and I think we're next." Yeah, the congratulations to Anu Weissman, a friend of ours here on the channel, and they got a new NWSL team. So congrats to them. And I don't know if we're next or not, but I think first, before anything like that happens here in South Florida, they've got to finish Miami Freedom Park. I think that's the number one plan and number one thing to do is Miami Freedom Park.
You know what we forgot to do, Peter, is mention some of the people in the comments.
We could do that if you want. I was going to start getting away from that.
They enjoy it, man. People like that. They like the.
All right, so I already mentioned Miami Sports. Caesar I already mentioned. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs is in here as well. Kevin is here. Right. Xavier Pennies is here.
All right.
Good thing God gave you 2 kidneys just in case.
Oh, well, that's why I was going to sell one. Well, I'm going to.
Marvin is here. Sports Shorts. Louis Rodriguez. Jonathan Alvarado. Welcome back. Sounds like he hadn't been here in a little bit. And then I see Julio Enriquez is there as well.
All right.
So I figured today... Oops. We'll get to that one. Figured today, the basic idea... What's wrong, Ed?
I'm not that fat, am I? What do you guys think? Does that look like me? I mean, I don't know, Peter. I think it's AI is, sometimes makes mistakes, and obviously I'm not that fat. What?
Well, look, ChatGPT thinks you are.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's all I could tell you.
It was in that picture, I guess.
It was an older picture. It's an older picture that was used. But the idea behind tonight, I thought, is kind of funny. Is a couple guys from Miami, from South Florida, going to sit there and try to explain to you while the calendar change is no big deal, right? It's no big deal. And because, we in South Florida know all about the cold, and we know all about the issues that they may have in the freezing areas. Or maybe it's just the opposite. I've only seen snow one time in my entire life, and that was only about 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I was in Denver, Colorado for all of 36 hours for work. But I'm sure everybody's already heard the calendar. I don't know if we need to go into tons of detail, but hang on a second. Caesar says, Ed, that looks more like me.
I think it kind of does look like Caesar. Yeah.
All right. So the calendar. So MLS, has been working on this idea of changing the calendar forever. I mean, I know we've heard this going back for so long that people felt like in order to be taken serious as a league, there's a couple things that need to happen. We don't need to go through all of them, like promotion relegation. That's a whole nother thing. But one of those topics was aligning ourselves with the calendar that is the European calendar. Now, a lot of people will say, because some people say, oh, well, we're aligning it with the rest of the world, and I've heard so many comments going, well, they don't do it in this country, they don't do it in that country, they don't do it in this. We're aligning ourselves with Europe, right? And this is one of those things where we all know is you can't make everybody happy, because for years hearing people say you need to make this change, and then once they make the change, you hear a ton of complaining.
Yeah.
But here's where it's gonna start in July, just like Europe. They're gonna take a winter break mid-December through the first week of February, maybe mid-February, and then wrap it all up in May. I mean, that works for me. What do you think, Ed?
Well, for us, I think it's wonderful. I mean, we get cooler, days. Even though we will have August, and which is kind of hot still, but for the most part for us it's perfect, man. I mean, we'll be like in our bathing suits, like in that picture that you put up. We'll be fine and dandy. But like you said, there's gonna be
I also felt like, look, I've got some Inter Miami sweatshirt. I have at least one Inter Miami sweatshirt. I've got an Inter Miami jacket. I've got some Inter Miami things that I could wear if the temperature is a little bit cooler. So me, from a selfish standpoint, love the idea of going to see a game in February or in December, right? I mean, those kind of cooler months, even coming in now, right now, it's some nights it's a little bit. Last night at the Fort Lauderdale United game, I was a little chilly, because my wife said I was going to wear long pants. And my wife says, no, you can wear shorts. It's warm outside. So I wore shorts. Then my knees were cold. I was a little bit chilly. Because, you're out. There's not a ton of people at that game, by the way. And so there's lots of air to flow around. And so I like the idea of being able to dust off some of that cold weather gear and be able to wear that. So from a purely selfish standpoint, I think it's great. Also, taking that break, I mean, the June, part of May, obviously, because if you're not in the playoffs, if you're not going to the championship game, you're done at some point in May. And then going into June, we're missing some of those rainy thunderstorm type of games.
Yeah. So I think we're good.
We're sitting pretty.
Yeah, we're fine. I mean, we're okay. It's the people up north that are worried and complaining. I've seen it through on Twitter and social media. People are complaining. A lot of people complain. Just like you said, they're never happy.
Can't make anybody happy. Julio says, yes, December games will be awesome, especially to celebrate my birthday, watching a regular season game. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. For me, my birthday happens to fall in May. So maybe I'm celebrating, a playoff or a championship victory, right?
Yeah,
possibly.
It's the least they can do.
Yeah. So I don't fully get the complaint. So obviously this is mostly a business move. Let's be clear about this. This is less about the fans, and I've got some articles I'm going to pull up from The Athletic that kind of talk a little bit about that, and we can go through. But it's really it's a business move. This is all about buying and selling players, being able to get the most out of your players that you want to sell, your academy players. Now you can maximize their value and selling them at the right time. Or even if it's one of your better players that you just think it's time to sell them off, you don't want to sell them at certain times because you're still in the middle of your season. You still need that player. You might as well sell them at the right time when all the teams are looking to buy, right? So it's purely a business move.
And I don't blame them.
Not at all. So this is one of the things that talking about this, in The Athletic, there's several articles that go into this, and I'd love to get you guys' comments, especially if you guys have been in the North, if you are from the North. I know we have some Northern fans that kind of watch us sometimes. Chime in. I had reached out to a friend that's in Minnesota, but he didn't get back to me, so I was curious on what his thoughts were on this. Well, I know what his thoughts are because I saw him on Twitter, but he didn't respond to me. But here it says, talking about those northern teams, the concern voiced by most fans centered around how cold weather markets would handle the playoff games. So in November and December, right? And then potentially a week or two in February. This is the interesting part where this is from Don Garber. We're already playing games in November now. It could easily be really cold in these same markets. He goes on to say it could be really cold in December. It could be really cold in other months. We're talking about a couple of games being added. So I don't know that it makes sense for a team. I don't know that it makes sense for a team for a handful of games to dramatically change their infrastructure. This is the key thing. It's not like this is a traumatic. This is from Garber, okay? Now you can hate on him. A lot of people do. It's not like this is as traumatic. I can't read. It's not like this is as traumatic as I think most people are making it. Whatever. When we're going through this process, 92% of the footprint is exactly the same. That's the thing. 92%. So the northern teams are getting their panties in a twist about an 8% change. I mean, that's crazy that they're getting so worked up about an 8%. That really means one or two more games that they're going to have to sit in the cold. Now, it may be cold, and those games may not be well attended, but it's a couple of games. What do you think?
I'm with you on that, Peter. I mean, it's only a couple of games, man, and like we've said, they're complaining. They're going to complain about anything, whether they remain in the same schedule or not. We kind of saw this coming, and it's a business move. I think, like I said, for us, it's wonderful. It doesn't make a difference. As a matter of fact, we're probably going to miss a lot of the heat during the break, so we're okay with that. I mean, we had that sun in our faces sometimes, because the sun went down, at what 8:30 or something. So we at least one of the halves we'd have the sun in our face. So we're going to be okay with that.
Yeah, this is another piece here from a different article on The Athletic. Specifically, to the two biggest pitfalls, it says. Number one, a likely hit to ticket sales in cold weather markets, so they might feel a little bit in the tickets. Now, these cold markets voted yes on this. I heard it was not a fully unanimous, so somebody like Minnesota, maybe they voted against it, but it sounds like several northern clubs did vote for it. It was not unanimous. But then it says some .2, some miserably cold and sometimes snow or icy training sessions, specifically in Toronto in February. But it says here, this was what I found interesting, this part right here. Many players, in fact, would rather train and play in 20-degree Chicago in February than in 95-degree swampy Houston. Or you could even throw that in there, Miami, right? 95 degrees, Miami, right? You could change that out a little bit and just put us in there. Players prefer to play in the cold than they do to play in the heat.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. And Peter, I want to give a shout out to Caesar and to Julio Caesar for their brand new members, man. Woohoo!
All right, yeah. I see Caesar. I just converted my Patreon, and then all right, yeah. Julio just became a member. We got 2 members. Thank you, guys. Again, if you're just joining, we've changed. We're following what a lot of YouTube channels are doing. This is nothing original, right? But just become a member and support the channel. And in the past, we didn't really do anything, but we're going to try to do some stuff that to give you some value. For one thing, if Ed films a construction video, you will get to see it before anybody else. For like
yes.
We're going to do our best to get it up as quickly, and then and you guys will have at least 24 hours to see it before anybody else does. And so we'll do some other good stuff as well. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
I do need to work on like finding, because right now the application didn't really alert me. Okay, but okay, so I see it. They now have little icons next to their names. Awesome. Anyways, back to the conversation. Fans are the ones that are going to maybe suffer here a little bit. But again, we're already playing games. This year, the season, if I remember correctly, I looked it up a few days ago, but this season started February 16th. Okay? I think that's what it was for Inter Miami. If once this happens in 2027, you are going to start the season potentially 1 week earlier. That's it. Also, keep in mind, if you are a club that was playing in the Champions Cup, you were already playing games in February, and I think sometimes in January. I'm not 100% sure. But you were playing games in those cold months as well already. So if you're good, if your team is good, you're already playing those months. And it seems like from what I've heard is
Messi. If your team has Messi, then you're going to be playing early.
There you go. And if the biggest complainers I've seen on this entire subject is Minnesota. So I don't know. Is Minnesota colder than, say, Toronto? Or about
Vancouver?
Or Vancouver? Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's a legit question. I am the Florida guy. I am
spoiled. Yeah.
Well, there's that, but I am this character right here. I'm this numbnuts. I'm this knucklehead, like I put in the title. I am this knucklehead that doesn't know anything about the cold, right? So I don't know if Minnesota's colder, but maybe it is. I don't know. They're the ones that are complaining the most. I actually heard them complaining more, some of them, more about not so much it being cold, but the fact that they were losing their summer months. They say that June, month of June, is like the most beautiful month in all of mankind in Minnesota. Right? It is the time to go to a football match. That is the time that they want to go to a game. And now they're not going to be able to go to a game in the most beautiful time of the year, which is one of our most miserable times of the year, right?
Of course, it's just too damn hot over here, and we're sweating half the time, and the sun's in our face. So we're spoiled.
I don't want to be a whiner like those guys are, because they are whining a lot. But going back to this, just another, conversation points. The intent, the real reason they're doing this is these strategic benefits. They're optimizing their global transfer market activity. They're maximizing player signings. And, aligning with the FIFA calendar. That right there, Ed. Right now, we had to take a week off because of the FIFA calendar. Right? So you're in the middle of your playoffs. You're in the middle of your playoff run. And you have to stop. Hold on. Wait. You're in a good rhythm. Wait. Players go off to your national teams. Maybe you get hurt. That happened to that guy in New York City.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. But he got hurt. And now that's less likely to happen.
Right.
Not their injury. I mean, it can happen, but you don't have to stop play for in the middle of your playoffs.
Yeah, and we kind of needed it because, I mean, if you think about it, Inter Miami we had a great win. Now we've got this, break that kind of takes us off that momentum, and especially we're gonna go to Cincinnati, which is going to be a tough city to play in. It's something that's not going to be. That it's not helping us getting that extra week off.
That's right. Yeah. Eric here is saying the guy's name from New York. Alonso Martinez, the player that got hurt in his national team, and now it's going to hurt New York in their playoff run.
Yeah, we want New York to win because then we'd probably have to go and play against what's the team? Forgot the team. Philadelphia.
Right. So what are your thoughts in the chat about this? Anybody in here that doesn't like it? We're going to listen to a couple voicemails about, I got one in particular where an old friend of ours is like, not happy. But the other thing is they're elevating the playoffs, right? So they're going to elevate the playoffs. The playoffs right now are competing against the NFL. A lot of people are saying you're stupid going up against the NFL in your regular season, but they're going up against the NFL right now in their most valuable, their most important games of the year, which are their playoffs and their championship games. So that's where they're, it makes more sense. There is not a time, and then I've heard people say, well, you're going up against the NBA, you're going. Our season is so long, you're gonna go up against somebody.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there is no way around it. You're gonna what they need to do is stop, in my opinion, stop worrying about you want to convert new fans, but more than anything, let's super serve the fans that they've already got.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no way around it. Like you said, we're gonna compete against somebody no matter what. And I think MLS has gotten strong enough to be able to compete with some of them. Maybe not as much as we'd like to, but we do have Messi, the best player in the world. So
that helps.
They need to take advantage now.
Right. So Toronto posted this. Now, a lot of teams posted something similar to this, but I found it interesting when the teams from the North, they basically have to put out comments that to calm their their fans down a little bit. Like, hey, relax a little bit. And they mention here, through almost 2 years of thoughtful discussion and consideration, the proposed changes to the MLS competition calendar and format made clear that aligning with the top leagues in the world would strengthen MLS on the pitch and position the league for continued growth. This is now MLS 3.0. This is taking them to that next level. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs says, imagine playing a game in Chicago in January. Well, lucky you're not going to have to do that because they are taking the break. So there will be no games in January. Well, there will be no league games. Don't be shocked if that window isn't filled with one of these other tournaments that MLS has. There's a plethora of tournaments. They have no power to move the Open Cup, so they can't do that. But there's a Leagues Cup, that could be moved. That could be moved to that window, or it could be moved to the June time frame. It might already be around there. But one of these open windows, I mean, games they're going to put something there.
Because they're going to make money somehow.
Yeah, I mean, there is, the schedule is full, right? And so, this is their bullet points. Again, we don't need to go through all this. You guys probably already know. Just curious your comments and your thoughts about this. As we go to comments and thoughts, let's listen to a voicemail.
It's time for your voicemail. Hello?
What's up, mi gente? It's your boy Yankee Yank. Shout out One World, One Goal. I definitely got to shout out my guy, Eric Thomas, because I realize it's been way, way too long since I showed that brother some love. Well, MLS has made its decision. Even though we knew it was coming, it was leaked out. I really wasn't sure the vote was going to go that way, but I guess they had all the votes lined up. So now we're at this situation where, quite honestly, I just don't have the same desire that I've had years previously. This kind of just pushes me closer to disengaging. I'm not mad about it. I get it. They got to do what they got to do. But I guess I'm just kind of, I don't know. I can't say I'm aging out, but I'm just not feeling it like I used to back in the day, y'all. And the reality is USL is going to have to follow suit, because if they don't, then they're going to be jammed up. But your boy is not trying to even go to a free DC United match with my brother's primo tickets and the luxury and the free food and the free drinks. Your boy ain't trying to do that, say past the middle of November until maybe the middle of April, because I'm kind of soft that way. Anyways, mad respect for y'all. Holla at you later, players.
At least Yankee admits that he's soft. At least he admits he's soft.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe anybody is going to be turned off of the league because of one or two games.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think most people are going to be on board. But yeah, there's going to be a few people that are not going to like it. And they're just going to have to live with it. Like we've lived with the Heat all this time.
Yeah, and this is the sad truth to that news. And it says here, perhaps more importantly, Northern fans turned off by the cold weather will be replaced and surpassed by fans who latch onto the league, whether it be on TV or in person, because they are no longer consumed by American football during the MLS most dramatic games. So people like Yankee Boy the League and things like that, and pundits here at Athletic just feel like you'll be replaced. You'll just be replaced with somebody who actually is okay with it, right? Because maybe they're finished watching American football, or they're not consumed by it like it says here, and they've got some free time to go to some games at the times that you choose not to go to those games. Right. So that's the sad truth is they we're all just a commodity to some, we think that the team cares about us. They really don't. You're just a number for the most part. It is a business, and that's the sad truth, but it's a business. But I am surprised when I hear someone like Yankees say, I'm out because of a 8% change in the schedule. That's really all it is. To me, that means you're really not that invested. And as much as I love Yankee Boy, I think that holds true to him. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but just knowing him a little bit, he's more invested in the lower divisions, Puerto Rico and things like that. Not as much with MLS these days, right? So you're not fully invested. Maybe this does turn you off, right? And it's easy now to just kind of flip the switch and turn it off.
Yeah, and his team has been sucking lately, so I don't blame him.
Well, there's that too.
If the team was better, I think he'd be more supportive. But for the past many years, they really sucked. So
yeah, when your team sucks, there's an excuse, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's in a nutshell. I'm sure we'll talk more about this as time goes by, but in a nutshell, that's really it. They're changing their schedule. People in the North are upset either because it's going to be too cold or because they're going to lose their beautiful summer soccer season, right? The summer of soccer is going to be gone for them. And they're upset about that. Sorry. You'll adjust. Just a few games, you'll adjust. Or you won't, and you won't go. Eric says, right now in New Jersey, it's in the middle 40s at 7:30 p.m. I can't imagine in early February.
Much colder. Snow, you name it.
I will tell you this. I hopefully next year I'm able to kind of go to one or two stadiums. I actually want to take in a snow game. Now, obviously, there's no control. You don't know if it's going to snow, right? But I could know for a fact that it's going to be cold, right? I kind of want to take in one of those. I'm likely to go and to fly out next year to Tulsa to take in a Tulsa game, just because it's another reason to see my brother, and I might schedule it around a Miami FC game. So maybe I could find time to in budget to go see a game in Chicago or something like that, where it's going to be cold. I can experience it.
Or if you guys become members, you can help Peter go. Just saying.
There's that. That's the content you could get. Travel videos of us and going to different places for sure.
Yeah.
L10 says, exactly, Peter. It's like people in the U.S. use every little excuse to quit on football instead of improving it. Yeah, at the end of the day, if you're not fully invested, it's easy to walk away, right? If you're watching this, you're probably fully invested and you're not going anywhere, right? So
right.
we're not going to get people in here yelling and screaming about it in a negative way. Caesar says, I love the new change to the match. The FIFA schedule transfer window is a win-win. Right. So it's more so about business. And I actually watched the GM for Cincinnati on a news broadcast. I saw it on YouTube where he was breaking it down. And Cincinnati gets pretty cold, right? They're one of those teams that's going to have to put in some heating in the field. And they're willing to do that, and because the business side is so good and it makes sense.
Yeah, and they will fill up that team's pretty good. So I think you've got a few more years of being good.
Yeah,
and
here's a dumb Miami guy, Florida guy question, because I don't know the answer. So they can put heaters under the field, okay? Keep the field going, but we're really concerned about fans. Can't they just put space heaters everywhere? You ever go to one of those restaurants, Ed, where they have those tall, kind of skinny heaters out in the outdoor sections? You know, and they got a little umbrella type thing to them usually.
Yeah, usually here in South Florida, you don't get too much of those, but they
I
come
see
in
them.
handy. Yeah, they come in handy. So for the 2 or 3 days that we get that's cold.
Exactly, but I see them. I see them at these restaurants. You go to a Cheesecake Factory, for example, and you're sitting outdoors in the outdoor section in December and January. They're going to have them there, whether they're turned on or not. They're going to have them there. Can't you just fill your stadium with those? Now I know I'm very minimizing, but basically, can't you install some sort of heating system, space heater type concept? I'm simplifying it, obviously, to keep the fans somewhat warm. It's not going to solve it, but can you blow a little heat on them?
Yeah, a little heat will go a long way.
I mean, if we're sitting next to me and Ed, we blow some heat on you from all the yapping, or maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me.
That's Peter. That's more Peter. He can talk.
So, all right. Let's move on a little bit. Next topic of this big discussion that came out was Apple. The Apple deal is changing in two ways. One, right away. Next year, right away, there is no MLS Season Pass. Season Pass is over. No more.
That's it.
Now,
so I was going to say my biggest concern was, Peter, and you probably have the answer to this. Since I'm not, season ticket holders usually got MLS, for free. Will that happen with the new deal, or with Apple TV? Will we get to watch for free, or we're gonna have to pay for it?
I will answer that in just a second, because I should be playing this. Eric Thomas just became a member. So we've got 3 new members in our first ever show talking about members. Can we get 2 more?
Can we get 2 more? And
5 would be amazing in that show.
Right.
So yeah, it has been confirmed. And as far as my talking a lot during a game,
Jabberjaw.
What did he sound like? Jabberjaws. He was like, yeah, he had the Three Stooges voice. He was kind of like Curly, right? He was like, yeah. Hey guys,
we're gonna have to get the soundbite.
Yeah, I gotta go get one now that I'm being called Jabberjaws. I gotta go get the soundbite for next week.
It's the least you could do it. And hey, look at you. That's a nice glass you got there. Mine broke.
Mine has not. This is a Heineken dry, and I'm drinking a Heineken in a Heineken glass. Now it's the Heineken Silver, which is the lighter Heineken, but it's still a Heineken. Still counts.
Yeah.
To answer your question, yes, it has been confirmed. Next year, all season ticket holders will get Apple TV. It's no longer called Apple TV Plus. Apple is going through their own little issue of branding. It doesn't make any sense because Apple TV is a product, viewing to watch things. It's also a machine because I have one of those sitting on next to my TV. There's an Apple TV device. It's called an Apple TV as well. It's all called Apple TV. That's originally why they called their streaming service Apple TV Plus, but everything also was a plus. Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, everything's a plus. But the Apple TV, so you'll get Apple TV, and you will not need an additional paywall. Here's, I think, the biggest win with this. Apple and MLS did a poor job in several things, but this is one of them. Apple did a poor job in educating people about the paywall. Because how many times have we all seen somebody complaining that they're behind a double paywall, that they had to pay for Apple TV and then also pay for MLS Season Pass, which was not the case. You did not have to have Apple TV. You only had to pay for MLS Season Pass. But so many people misunderstood that. They got the wrong information and they got mad and they didn't even give it a try. So that they did a piss poor job on marketing this and explaining it to people. So now by removing that step, it's still behind a paywall. So people complain that it's behind a paywall. Everything's behind a paywall, folks. I mean, even if you want cable's a paywall. Cable actually will cost you more per month, right? But the argument is people say, well, I already have cable, so I just want it because it's... But a lot of people don't nowadays. I mean, I was watching some stuff about Comcast and also Disney. Recently, they both had shareholders meetings, and their linear TV side of their business is shrinking and is hurting. And so in Disney's case, they're leaning more into the theme parks. Comcast is starting to do the same thing, right? So they're leaning away from linear because linear is dying. So it's still behind a paywall. But now you get, more content for your, buck, right? So now you're going to pay your $12.99, $13.99, whatever it is, and you're going to get to watch all this shows. And by the way, this show Pluribus, you should be watching it. It's a good show. It's weird. It's good. I like it. I've only watched the first 2 episodes. 2, maybe 3 episodes. I think I've seen 3 episodes. I think there's only 3 episodes.
Cool.
It's a good, weird kind of sci-fi like show. So,
I like my sci-fi.
It's not sci-fi like there's a spaceship, right? Like that. For me, I like those kind of sci-fi, but it is sci-fi in the fact that it's like, if I even gave a little bit away, it would ruin it because the opening kind of is a big cool thing. Anyways, lots of good content here. If you're interested, right? So you will get to see all this and F1. F1 will also be on here. If you're into racing, like I know One World, One Goal's into NASCAR. I don't know if she's into Formula One, but I know she's into racing of some sort, right? She's into racing of some sort. And so you'll get for your value, you will get all these TV shows, and they're TV shows. So Apple does some amazing shows that just nobody knows about, right? Like this show here, The Last Frontier, really good show. Really good show. But plane goes down in Alaska filled with convicts. Now I got to go collect them before they, kill a bunch of people. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So lots of good content there about Apple TV. So no more season pass, but it's still on Apple. What do you think about that, Ed? I said a lot.
No, I think I think it's better. Especially since we're season ticket holders, we're gonna get to see all that extra shows and stuff. Before it was only MLS, which I was fine with, but now now that you're talking about all these shows and how cool they are, now I'm curious. And
Ted Lasso.
I already have Netflix. Now I'm gonna be able to watch Apple TV, and that's fine with me.
Now, what I will be interested to find out is how that affects someone like me. I'm all in on Apple, right? This is coming from an Apple lover, right? I'm not, so this is all coming from an Apple lover. I already pay for Apple. I pay for a service called Apple One. Apple One gives me Apple TV. It gives me their news app. It gives me some data storage. It gives me a few different things. So I'm already paying for it. So I don't know how when I get my season tickets and I'm getting my free Apple subscription, how that works with something when I'm already paying. So I don't know. Jay Vasquez jumping in some commentary about the Apple thing. MLS Season Pass was $99 a year. I believe Apple TV is $159 a year. If you only want MLS, it will be more expensive, and this is assuming they don't increase rates, which we all know the trend on that. Yeah. Wow, I'm a first-tier capitalist. Hey, it's we're a capitalist country. What can I say? But I like my Apple products. I'm willing to pay for it, right? I'm paying for it. So, I'm not getting anything for free. I'm paying for it. So I think overall, I think that's just good news. Now, you could say, they renegotiated this portion of the deal. Is it because Apple wasn't happy, or it's because MLS wasn't happy? This was a mutual agreement. They haven't said, there's been no word about who pushed for it. But I feel, this is just my feeling, I could think that neither of them are exactly thrilled at how it turned out, that they're not getting the subscriptions that they had hoped for and all that kind of stuff. Right. But, just thought came to my mind as maybe that's also why people love our game day vlogs too, because they don't want to pay for Apple TV, so they can watch it. Right. We're providing a service for people that don't want to pay for Apple TV. Right. And that's why our game day vlogs do pretty good.
They're basically the highlights plus.
It's just our experience, right? Whatever we went through.
Experience, and it's kind of fun. I can imagine why people enjoy it, because they get to see it from our perspective.
But yeah, we might be giving them something that because they didn't want to pay for it, they're getting it, right? So I lean towards, of course, like I said, I don't think Apple is probably thrilled, but I think maybe MLS, so many people, and our friend Eric Thomas is one of them, that have complained and do not like this Apple deal. And he and I were going back and forth on it over chat recently. And I'll get to that in just a second. And that threw me off. Let's just go with it. Caesar coming in with a super chat. The Apple TV deal with MLS went from 10 years to 6.5 years. Not sure what will happen after 2028. Also, CR7 got a red card. Well, we haven't even gotten to that part yet, but let's just go to that part. So beyond the MLS Season Pass, I was taking it piece by piece. Beyond the MLS Season Pass, they've also renegotiated the entire terms of the deal. It was a 10-year deal. Now, like Caesar said, it is a 6.5 year deal. So they're shortening the deal as it ends after the 28-29 season. That season, that'll go from 28 to 29. It ends. So what do you think of that, Ed?
Well, obviously somebody wasn't happy. I would imagine, Apple TV probably wasn't happy. They probably expected more people to join in. Yeah, people, won't pay, and they'll take shortcuts and watch, wherever they can. Go watch parties, or maybe watch it where they shouldn't be watching it, because there's ways of watching games. But what can you say, Peter? Now maybe MLS could do a negotiation with a competitor. You never know, Netflix, or it could be somebody else. Maybe not make as much money as they were going to make with Apple TV, but somewhere in the ballpark.
Well, if you think about it, they really weren't making that much from Apple TV, because they have to pay for. MLS pays for their own production. All this great production that we love, MLS pays for. And so here's going back to the Apple snob. I love the Apple TV deal. It super serves me. I'm already a fan, and I'm a diehard. I'll pay for it if I have to. Right? I don't have to pay for it because I'm a season ticket holder, thankfully, but I would pay for it happily. Shouldn't say that too loud, because I want to keep this benefit of getting it for free as a season ticket holder. but the product is outstanding. The fact that I could go to one location and see all games, no blackouts, is outstanding. And I want that. I do not want that to change. Whatever happens, wherever they go, I think that has to stay the same. I want no blackouts, and I want everything in one location. Right now, like I was mentioning, I was watching the NWSL. So yesterday's game was on, which was the Portland Thorns game. It was on Paramount Plus. So I knew today was the Orlando Pride versus Gotham game. So I went to Paramount Plus, assuming I would find that game. It was not there. I had to go on and grab my phone and do an internet search to find out where can I stream this game. It was on ESPN/ABC. No problem. I have that as well. So I went over there. But why make it complicated like that? Now, you could say they're maximizing their market because they're getting people from all over the place, and maybe it's a better business move. But as a fan, I want to be super served, and I want it to be easy to find. I don't want to have to look and search, where's my game today?
Yeah, I get you. I get you, Peter, because, yeah, it's easier. And whatever's a no-brainer is better for the fan. Easier access. I mean, you went out of your way to look to see where you could find that game, and that, you don't want to do that as a fan. It gets boring, and people nowadays people they have a short attention span, and that'll turn anybody off.
Sure. And what if it was on one of the channels I didn't have? I don't have cable. Now, of course, I'm talking completely from a selfish point of view, right? Because my point of view is the most important point of view to me, right? And you, I threw that.
Yeah,
I paused for a second on purpose. But everybody's point of view is the most important point of view to them, right? If you already have cable, you hate the fact that it's behind another paywall because you're paying for cable and you want it to be on Fox and ESPN and all these other places. Great, understand. If you're like me, that has a bunch of streaming services, you don't want it to be on that one streaming service you don't have. And now I got to scramble to either choose to pay for it if I really want to watch the game, or if I'm just going to say, screw it, I'm just going to miss this one game. All right. So that sucks. And I want whatever happens, I want that to stay the same. I have ideas of where they could go. We can even do more shows in the future as time goes on, because the deal is still going to go on until 2029. We still have a lot of time with Apple.
Yeah.
But at least.
But I like the way you went, Peter. It's me.
But look, it's true, because everybody that complains is complaining about their perspective.
Right.
Because that's how we live our lives. The world is centered around you. Right?
Yep.
I am the master of my own universe, right?
No doubt, Peter Brown.
And you are the master of yours.
Right.
Jay Vasquez says, did Apple MLS align their partnership to Messi's contract? Well, you don't know, because Messi, he extended his contract, but he can opt out every single year. So maybe, to some extent, maybe. But here's the thing. Okay, I was starting to go down this path a little bit. I think MLS went down this direction, thinking this was the right direction to go, probably maybe a little bit ahead of the game, right? They probably made the switch a little bit too soon, right? They're not in a position like the NFL. The NFL could do this, no problem. They're not the NFL, right? So they maybe there was a little bit too soon for them to pull this kind of move. But, so I could see, and it was a 10-year deal, which is the long-term deal. Maybe that was too long. Maybe it should have been a 5-year deal to see if it's going to work. Yeah. So I could see MLS wanting to pull out. I could see MLS wanting to restructure this deal, because it is not as beneficial to them as maybe they thought it was going to be, because they have to pay for this production. They have to pay for all the talent. Apple is just giving them the portal.
Gotcha.
Right?
This makes total sense, Peter. Total
sense. I could see MLS being the ones that really wanted to change this deal and get out of it. I don't know that to be true. That's just kind of how I think is potentially where you could go. Is, you know, the owners are all splitting a few $1 million each, right? And that's it.
Gotcha.
Suzanne coming in from Australia says, I pay for Apple TV and extra for Season Pass in Australia. So does this mean I won't have to pay for Season Pass in 2026? That is correct, Suzanne, because there will be no Season Pass in 2026. You're already paying for Apple TV. That's all you need to do.
You'll be fine and dandy.
So just the way this breaks down a little bit, if we switch over here, which is taking a little bit longer. I got to figure out why my application on certain scenes is running slow, but it is running slow on certain scenes, and I don't know why. The way this deal is going to be structured is Apple will here it says MLS will be paid $200 million for the 2026 season, $107 million for the sprint season, because we didn't even talk about this on the calendar. There would be basically a 7-month gap from when the old season starts and the new season flipping the schedule starts. Well, what they're going to do is a sprint schedule, a 14-game, kind of like, think of the COVID welcome back or football's back, whatever they call that tournament. Obviously it's a shorter tournament. They're going to pay them less money, $107.5 for that sprint season, and then the league will receive $275 million for those final 2 seasons. This is the way the money's going to end up spreading out. In the end, this restructured deal, MLS will get about $50 million more than what the original deal was. So MLS actually is better in this situation. They are getting more money. Now, $50 million is nothing in the big picture, but hey, I take it.
So does that mean, Peter, that I'm wrong and that they actually made money?
Yeah.
And it was good. I mean, for Apple TV after all, just maybe not that good, but good enough.
Are you saying did MLS make money?
Right.
You'd have to look and see, and I'd have to do a little bit of research to see how much are they spending every single year on production. Because I've heard some people throw out numbers that like each owner may only be getting like $4 or $5 million in this deal. That's not a lot of money, right? So That's a bad deal. That's a bad deal then. So because they have to pay for a studio. They've got to they're paying another company. I forget the name of the company, but they're paying for another company to film all these games, to produce all these games, right? They've got to pay for the talent. And Taylor Twellman ain't cheap. Caitlin Kyle ain't cheap. That pretty face and those long legs cost money. Right?
There, yeah. And all that talent that they got some pretty talented guys in English and Spanish. You name it. Yeah.
So I don't know if they're actually making money, if it was really a good deal or not. But they are making more money now that they're breaking the deal. I could say they are making $50 million more than what they were making. That's what we can say. $50 million more than what they were making. So that's good. And at the end of the day, what this does, in my opinion, is it incentivizes the owners now to get off their ass and make the changes that we really want. So the calendar change is nice, but that's just step one. That's step one, right? We need wholesale changes in this league, money-wise. They need to take away a lot of the complicated rules. Whoa, my voice.
Rules.
I'm going through puberty. They need to get rid of these complicated rules, up the salary cap, and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, they didn't vote on that right now. One thing at a time. This was a huge hurdle that they had to get over.
Baby steps.
Huge hurdle. And actually, in one of these articles, Garber was also quoted in saying those kind of changes, money kind of changes, will happen. To what extent He won't tell you because he did defend the rules, right? Of course, he's going to. He defended the rules. He says, every league has rules. NFL has rules. Everybody has rules. We have rules, right? But they are going to look at loosening the rules. It's not going to be a situation where they get rid of them, right? But they're going to loosen the rules to some extent. But that would not happen until 2027. So they're talking about that happening at the same time that this league changes. But they haven't voted on that. So they still have time to make those votes. And they also have to get the CBA on board, the Players Union on board, right? So, that's going to take time as well. But this incentivizes the league to make the product more exciting, more valuable, because obviously they do want to go to another streaming service. For example, they want to go to, and I've seen people mention it, they want to go to like a Netflix. I'm sure Netflix has 300 million subscribers. I did my research, Ed. 300 million subscribers for Netflix. Apple TV is rumored, because they do not report their numbers, somewhere between 40 to 50 million. Now, we're not talking Season Pass. That's straight up Apple TV. Season Pass obviously is much less than that. So right now, without the Season Pass, you're opening it up to those 40 or 50 million. But Netflix has 300, over 300, right? So they obviously want to make themselves more valuable, more enticing for a bigger streamer like Netflix to buy the license it or whatever, and put it on their service. So this really, to me, as a fan, this can kickstart the league. This is fuel to the fire. This is Jorge Mas on somebody's ass saying we need to get things done. The new owners in this league are pushing the older owners, and maybe they'll push them out, right? They're pushing them to make the kind of changes that they want. They want to spend money. And if you're gonna entice somebody like Netflix, you've got to have the best players in the world, right? You've got to be able to get more. You're not going to be the English Premier League, right? But you got to be able to get more of top-notch players, and getting rid of these ridiculous rules.
And I hear it, man. I mean, we're lucky to have owners that really want our team to win, and they're willing to spend the money, getting Messi, getting DePaul. We're going to lose Busquets, we're going to lose Jordi Alba, but they're willing to bring more players in that, and if they give us another DP for next year or the following year, even better. I think the quality of the league needs to go up. We need better players, better youth players as well, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people come up with different rules and different ideas. Things like the youth players from your academy don't count against the cap, kind of things like that. Those are interesting ideas. Lots of interesting ideas of how to do it. They're not going to just say it's a free-for-all, right? They're going to have a cap, things like that. So, that's just the reality of the situation. So, see you, Mr. Krabs. I know we're going a little bit long. We'll wrap this up in just a minute.
There is a stadium construction video coming out just before you leave, Mr. Krabs. So be ready for that. It's coming out
in a couple days. You'll see the new stadium construction video.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Real quick before we go, and we could go into a deeper dive on this kind of things in the future. Just throw this out there, and maybe we can dive into this in a future episode. Is where would you want to see this league? Would you want to see it on Netflix? Would you want to see it on Paramount, the home of the Champions League? Which is also CBS, so you're getting a little bit linear. Would you want it back on ESPN? Would ESPN give it the proper respect that they never did, right? Do you want it? So lots of different things that we could discuss in a future episode, but just to whet your appetite, if you're here this long, if you've made it this far into the thing, come back in a future episode where we can go deeper dive into where you would like to see this this product end up, as far as on a streaming or TV. Or are you different than me and you want it to be only on linear, right? You screw the one shop place. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's got different needs. So anyways,
yeah.
Ed, we also tomorrow have a game day vlog from the Fort Lauderdale United coming out.
Nice. Women's soccer. You guys
women's
check
soccer.
That out? Yeah, Peter Brown went out there and checked out that game. So be sure to check that out. So we got a lot of content still coming up, even though there's no games. Be sure to tune in next Sunday. We'll be talking a lot more about these new Apple TV and the MLS deals that are coming up.
Yeah, well, next week also keep in mind next week on Sunday it's the Sunday I think is the game is the playoff game is on Sunday. So I'm not sure if that will impact this show or not, or but we'll see.
Yeah, it's on earlier, so we might have a later show or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's on at like 5 or something like that, so we may have to just do a later show.
Yeah. So.
All right, everybody. Like Ed said, we'll have a construction video coming out. Is there anything else going on, Ed?
We've been, unfortunately, we haven't been able to do the Spanish, so we've had some technical difficulties, but we'll do our best to get that going as soon as possible.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. This was a blast. A lot of stuff to talk about. I think I could have gone, to be honest, one episode could have been just calendar, and a whole separate episode could have been just Apple. This kind of conversation I love. I could go on and on and on. Maybe it's boring for some, but for me, I find the stuff behind the games super exciting and super interesting. So we'll go into more of that in the future. And so we'll thanks so much for those of you that are watching. Thanks for everybody that did become a member that joined the FMTV Supporters Club. So thank you all that joined, and we really appreciate your support. We're going to make sure we bring some special content in the near future to those of you that did that. So thanks everybody for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.